In this video, I will talk about my motivation to live up to 1,000 years or to get eternal life, and I believe it's possible. And let's go to details. As always, I recommend you to download the presentation as PDF file from the link in the description. You will get access to the source of information and also to the link. Sometimes I use some links. Well, and let's go. So to explain my motivation to live long, I have to describe some details of my past as I remember it. I was born in Ukraine on March 31st, 1957. My first bright memory event was related to October 4 the same year, the day when Soviets launched the first satellite. This significant event was widely celebrated in the Soviet Union, and I remember how my grandparents were excited with the news and some details about the house. Very bright, actual memory. And it is worthwhile to note that sense of my personality or soul in my growing body didn't change over time. Today's self-awareness of my soul is no different from time of my infancy. In childhood, I was reading mostly science fiction books, but yet reading Dante's Divine Comedy influenced me a lot to accept the concept of a soul in human body. So again, if you didn't read it, I recommend it. It is the basic basis of the Christian culture and European culture, so it is so important. Okay, that time there was much noise about theories of general and special relativity of Albert Einstein, I think more than now. And my opinion at that time was following: it is not science and Einstein is not a genius. I was trying to read this available description of general and special relativity, and I was very disappointed. And also the real author of this series was a Serbian physicist and mathematician, and also Einstein's first wife, Milena Maric. Autistic people like Greta Thunberg, Albert Einstein, and Stephen Hawking are often presented to the public as experts and geniuses, while real geniuses like Nikola Tesla are often presented as villains. Arthur Schopenhauer explored why, for the immense majority of people, intelligence often excites hatred, envy, and resentment instead of appreciation and respect. He believed that intelligent individuals are perceived as superior to those of lower intelligence, and showing intelligence is often perceived as an indirect insult to people with lower capabilities. Okay, this was the idea of special relativity, and again, it is complete nonsense, I believe. It's because space cannot be deformed. Space, it is just coordinates. It is, it cannot be deformed. We agree that time scale, about dimensions, about the coordinates, they are by definition, they cannot be disturbed. So this Schopenhauer was exploring the curse of intelligent people. It is so again. I personally know much for Nikola Tesla, but I experienced cases of unprovoked aggression and hatred when I tried to implement my inventions for industrial use. Engineers of companies are supposed to solve technical problems and improve technologies. And if an independent inventor is proposing a solution that may benefit the company, the engineers of the company often, if not always, consider it as a threat and demonstration of their low intellectual abilities. In many patent laws, inventors are entitled to patent royalties and receiving financial compensation for their inventions based on the percentage of the revenue generated from the patented product or process. Again, it has to be, the invention has to be patented, and I always, I such inventors that I know how to patent my ideas, and I have quite a number of patents, and so I was always following the rules and following the regulations, but never worked, unfortunately. So, but even after successful demonstration of the invention in industrial process, employees deny sharing profit from the innovation with inventor and humiliate the inventor. This was I gotten many times through. So this again, by definition, inventor can make patent license agreement and decide about what will be the compensation for his contribution. The common arguments of these engineers were as follows: we don't want you to become a millionaire because you are not a part of our team or you are of the wrong citizenship. Yes, it's like I was in Germany, I tried to help them, and this what was they told me. Or they promised to make an agreement only if I will resolve the technical problem, but deny signing the agreement when after years of hard work, I have developed a cost-effective solution to radically improve the quality of their products. It is with Thai people, so I trusted in them, and when I came with solution, they just humiliated me. At best, companies didn't respond to my proposals to demonstrate excellent properties of the products, like advanced engine oils or microbial enzymes. Again, so no attention. So it's again, people hate intelligent people. So I'm not very high intelligence, but yet again, as an inventor, I had very nasty experience. This failures to sell inventions and compensate my financial investment for research led me to shift to a project to live healthy and up to 1,000 years. However, it will take long to prove the validity of my findings. Yes, I understand, but I see how my health is improving, and it is again, even if I go to hospital for some life certificate that I'm alive and healthy, and they confirm that, yeah, that I'm exceptionally healthy to my age. Okay, and again, why I do this project? Again, if I cannot get money, from my findings, at least I improve my health and I will live long. This is a real value in the life, your health. So Nikola Tesla was a vocal critic of Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity that presented gravity as a geometric property of curved space and time. This again, it is complete nonsense. Personally, I fully support his opinion. Nikola Tesla described Einstein's theory as idle speculation of curved space, a beggar clothed in purple whom ignorant people take for a king, or as a mathematical garb that fascinates the others and make people blind to the underlying errors. Yeah, and you have to read this general relativity theory. It is ridiculous, completely ridiculous. Tesla himself worked on a dynamic theory of gravity and considered gravity as a secondary effect of electromagnetic interactions. Very interesting idea. He said that his theory satisfactorily explains the causes of this force of the gravity and motions of the heavenly bodies under its influence. His dynamic theory of gravity and some of his revolutionary inventions were not disclosed to public until now. This again, the idea is that our universe is actually electrical universe, and electrical and magnetic forces are so much larger than gravitation. So instead of this viewpoint that gravity controls the universe, some people propose this idea of that electromagnetic forces control the gravity and control the universe. But again, it is not accepted by mainstream so-called science, which is not science at all. So Nikola Tesla proposed this idea, and also some design of the anti-gravitational engine was proposed, and I believe that even some ideas were tested, but in secrecy, because it's such invention is of huge importance. So we can fly other planets, other solar systems, other star systems with such devices, and even we have some evidence that some objects are coming to our solar system and they now have the normal engines, but they accelerate or decelerate not according to the gravitational laws, but somehow very strange. So it shows that probably such objects which came to our solar system from outside, they are probably artificial vessels, artificial vehicles from other civilization, or I don't know. It's again interesting. Einstein was rewarded with Nobel Prize in Physics in 1922, not for his relativity theories, because again, serious scientists will never accept this theories as true theories. It is again really ridiculous. But he actually got the Nobel Prize for the explanation of the photoelectric effect, emission of electrons from material. And this effect was discovered by Heinrich Hertz in 1987. But actually it was Max Planck who proposed in 1900, that the energy of light is emitted as, or absorbed in discrete packets or quanta, also we call it photons, with the energy of each quantum being proportional to the frequency of the radiation, and given by the equation that the energy is F, frequency of electromagnetic field, and H is a Planck constant. Again, this is a very important contribution, absolutely fantastic. Max Planck was a real scientist, in difference from Einstein. So when photons strike a metallic surface, electrons are emitted from the surface, and this effect is called the photoelectric effect. Why was the explanation of the photoelectric effect attributed not to Max Planck but to Einstein? It's very strange. So this is Einstein and Planck. Planck never appreciated Einstein. Planck was a real scientist. His contribution is enormous. But again, somehow Einstein is considered as genius. During high school years, in addition to school lessons, I was getting remote education in physics and mathematics from the Moscow Institute for Physics and Technology and Novosibirsk State University. Also on Sundays, I was attending lectures at the local Bransk State Technical University. As a result of these efforts, I won competitions in physics and mathematics in the city, and I got invitation to get a university education from MIPT, this Novosibirsk State University, and also Moscow Engineering Physics Institute, because they collect the results of the competition, and they sent invitation to get better students. In 1980, I graduated from MIPT with a master's degree in chemical physics and continued my studies as a postgraduate student at the same university with a base at the Institute for Problems in Mechanics until the end of 1983. My teachers were Barenblad, Grigory Barenblad, Boris Zeldovich, Vadim Lebrovich, and I also worked with Nikolai Pilipetsky, Igor Beldugin, Sergei Anisimov, and Michael Trebelsky. These are very good people. I appreciate them, their help a lot. Not help, but we're working together. This is a picture of this Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology from the window of the laboratory building. Laboratory building is just there. And we see the auditorium building, and there are two more houses, big houses in the territory. The institute is not big. It's every department. It's about 100 students per year. So it is 6-year education, 600 students, and about 6 or 7 the departments. My CV with the list of publications is available if somebody is interested. I believe that my most significant contribution in science and technology were following: the experimental demonstration of the instability of surface during evaporation by laser radiation. It was again part of my thesis. But why it is important? Because it shows, next step, it shows the nature of laser, or how energy is produced in stars. Unfortunately, it is yet not used, this idea. So some people with ideas of electrical universe and other correct ideas are talking about this, but again, it is just official science. It is suppressing such view. And again, it is shame. It is shame. So next was quite big achievement. Pardon. A pulsed CO2 laser with a self-pumped mirror based on a four-wave interaction of radiation inside the laser medium. So it was, again, big achievement because I worked for years to get this, to get this such special mirror which will specially reflect the radiation of infrared lasers, and it was a big problem, and it was supposed to be used in design of lasers for military applications. So I got quite good help from other institutions. So I was used very expensive equipment, but I worked a lot also myself. Unfortunately, the result that I demonstrated how it works, that possibility, it was, I believe it's very big contribution, but result didn't make me any benefits. Vice versa, I got problems with KGB. Okay, laser resonators to reduce divergence of radiation. I made some number of publications how to get very short laser pulses and very good divergency, low divergency. And next, after this perestroika, that already research in laser physics was not supported, so I tried to find other areas, and for example, in some ceramics, technical ceramics, I worked also some interesting proposal, but also what really good, to my opinion, a method to manufacture granules of expanded ceramics. It is really invention. I patented it and tried to demonstrate how it works in industrial process, and it worked very well, but again, no money from this. No money, and even I demonstrated that it gives absolutely fantastic result with low cost of the additional, with low additional spendings. But again, it was not appreciated at all. People say, we don't want you to become a millionaire, because if we will use your proposal, then you will become millionaire. And there are many companies producing this expanded ceramics for heat isolation in Soviet Union, and they said, we don't want you. We can give you like $5,000 American, that's all. But yeah, okay, this is a long story, I will not go, but it is really shows that people are jealous or envy of if the other person come in and proposing some improvements. So instead of appreciating it, they work very, very nasty. Okay, then what else? An impact of elastic lubricants on friction and wear. I was done it, and also some solution to suppress surface fracturing during extrusion. So I did it already in Germany. But again, even if I demonstrated it, I didn't get any appreciation. So next, that was also, I did it mostly in Germany, but also in Thailand. This is nanoscale structuring and reinforcement of some rotomolded parts from polyethylene. So there was big problem, and so people promised me that they will work with me, but eventually nothing. They said they will not pay me any money. Okay, some of my important findings are like processing additives for extrusion and rotomolding of polyethylene, advanced engine oils and rejuvenation with the use of microbial enzymes were not published. I tried to find some support and failed. Okay, this is how my biological reactor looks like. So it is only part of the reactor. It is actually more complicated. But I use honeycombs, and then honeycombs are by microbes and fungi are used to produce these microbial enzymes, and they work perfect. It was working not only for me perfect, but also for other participants of my project, and they're quite happy. But again, I tried to find money or interest at least to make clinical trials, maybe with dozens of people only. It is not big deal. I am ready to support these trials, but nothing again. People, these big pharma companies and medical institutions are not interested to make people healthy at all. So quantum physics, quantum chemistry, and related philosophy were large parts of my education. According to quantum physics, the physical nature of the multidimensional quantum world is very different from our small three-dimensional material world. And quantum entanglement of particles and wave-like behavior of objects indicates the instant transfer of information through space and interconnection of all objects in the quantum world. And a famous double-slit experiment which was first performed in 1909, and is even more mysterious as it demonstrates that our focused attention, or so-called observation, may lead to the collapse of the Schrödinger function intermaterial object. It is again fascinating phenomenon, fascinating. And this phenomenon was also shown to occur with photons, electrons, atoms, and even some large molecules, 2,000 atoms in size, and then it also shows that future may change past and present. So this is how you can read about pardon, this noise. You can read about this experiment. It is fascinating. So if we observe the impact and use some detectors, photons or electrons, they somehow understand what will happen after they cross this two-slit membrane. After. So they, in advance, so the past, when it defines the future. It is incredible. Again, our focused attention change the behavior of objects. From wave behavior like waves, they change to real material objects. Okay, this is fantastic, fantastic. People don't understand it, but again, it is quantum physics is so fantastic, so it gives so big insight into the nature of our universe. So the influence of our observation on this collapse is in general denied by mainstream materialistic science. Again, this is a problem. The same as existence of mind outside of our bodies, so-called extended mind. Also, one of these ideas which are confirmed by experiments is so-called extended mind. Some people who deny the concept of the extended mind claim that physical presence of the observer is not necessary for the material world to exist. But meanwhile, Robert Sheldrake, I invite you to read his ideas. It's a fantastic person. Again, his contribution is not appreciated, suppressed, actually. But he demonstrated results of many experiments that can be explained only by the concept of the extended mind. The local presence of the observer is not absolutely necessary in such cases. And Niels Bohr argued that physical quantities, so-called objects, material objects, only come to existence upon measurements, upon observation. It is so-called Copenhagen interpretation of these experiments. And now nobody from the theoreticians working in the area of quantum physics now denies that our material world cannot exist without an observer. This is so important, and to understand that our material world is small and it is defined by something else. Okay, so this Rupert Sheldrake, again, I recommend you to learn about the morphic resonance and extended mind. It's again, it is also all related to so-called universal mind. Okay, let's go further. The Big Bang is a hypothesis that describes how the material universe appeared and expanded over time. But what do we know about the multidimensional universe? Not only material, but all the multidimensional universe. Satellite-based microwave, X-ray, and light telescopes have discovered that galaxies and clusters of galaxies are much more massive than can be estimated from the mass of dust, gases, and stars. The excess of mass was explained by existence of invisible, or so-called dark matter. Astronomers determined by measurements that dark matter is about 27% of the content of the universe. I mean, all the universe, including this quantum world and our real world. So also scientists propose that mysterious dark energy explaining the accelerating expansion of the universe. Measurements show that dark energy contributes about 68%, ordinary matter only about 5% of total energy content of the universe. So it is amazing. It is changing all our this Big Bang explanation of the Big Bang is it's quite complicated. It is quite strange. Again, it is cannot be explained by science, materialistic science. Cannot be. You can talk, but again, there are some problems which cannot be explained by this materialistic science. While the dark matter is concentrated around visible galaxies, dark energy is evenly distributed in space, and it is growing in the expanding universe. So it is dark energy density of the dark energy is about constant, and if universe is expanding, then in total dark energy is growing. Materialistic theories and cosmology describe dark energy as either fundamental energy of space, so-called vacuum energy, or zero-point energy, or unknown property of gravity. Again, they somehow fascinated with gravity without understanding what is gravity. Okay, if they don't know what is gravity, they can attribute this strange dark energy to gravity. It is ridiculous. However, if vacuum energy were to be the driver of accelerated expansion, it would produce so tiny effect compared with what observed. It is 10 in power 120. 10, it is a fraction, it is 1 to 10 in 120 zeros. So little effect. It is ridiculous. You cannot explain by vacuum energy this so-called dark energy. It's nonsense. But material science dominates in everywhere. Over 50 theories for dark energy exist, but none have any supporting evidence yet. There is an opinion that dark energy does not exist, and the observed red shift of light from distant galaxies can be explained if the speed of light depends on the mass energy density of space. Again, there are many attempts to somehow explain it, but unfortunately it is not working well. So, okay, this is about dark matter. So if we calculate dark matter distribution in galaxies, then it should be like this, density of, but it's by measurements, it is growing as with distance. And this dark matter keeps the galaxy stable, because otherwise they will just, this high-speed object will just will be removed from the galaxy, but it is not happening. So it is again very interesting. Dark matter behaves very, very interesting way. It is somehow a tool to stabilize the material galaxies. So again, visible matter only 5%. You see, very small part. Dark energy or dark matter. Dark matter is 27%, so it is 5 times, about 5.2 times larger, and dark energy dominates 68% of all energy in the multidimensional universe. So dark matter is invisible and difficult to detect due to its inability to interact with light or electromagnetic radiation, while dark energy is the force that is causing the universe to expand at an accelerated rate. Dark matter plays a crucial role in stabilizing the universe by acting as gravitational anchor, preventing stars, the galaxies, and galaxy clusters from flying apart due to their high rotational speeds. Scientists have attempted to detect dark matter particles, but no confirmed detection was occurred yet. And there is a theory of weakly interacting massive particles. But again, with Large Hadron Collider at CERN, maybe some experiments will confirm the existence of this weakly interacting massive particles, but now we don't know yet. Again, this is a huge experimental setup to collide elementary particles at very high speed. So, and in hopes that to get more knowledge about this dark energy and dark matter. So according to the second law of thermodynamics, so-called law of increasing entropy, the total entropy of an isolated system, and which have to include our university, our universe too, can only increase or remain constant. This is, I mean, physical law, okay? But it never decreases. So if we accept it, so entropy is a measure of the disorder and or randomness of the system. And this law simplistically states that isolated systems tend to go from order to disorder. Again, so it is like disorder, it is like gas at some low temperature and with no structure, with no solid parts. So eventually the material universe will reach thermodynamic equilibrium, so-called heat death of the universe. This is, again, it should happen if the universe follows the physical laws of this material world. And what is strange, there is paradox. The early universe was uniform with no stars, no planets, and no life. So it has to be high entropy. Equilibrium state, high entropy, and the entropy should only increase. Meanwhile, we observe today the highly structured, ordered universe, stars, galaxies, etc., and with low entropy. So the more structure, the less the entropy. And this is a paradox. How in the universe we observe, material universe, how is it that entropy is decreasing? How the galaxy is getting more structured? It is a complete nonsense from material science. So you cannot explain it. So this unexplained, unresolved paradox of reduced entropy is a major area of study in cosmology and physics, but again, it's no progress. So this is the third law of thermodynamics. So eventually our universe should go to the gas state or collapse, so that it will get to this state of high entropy, of complete disorder. So, but again, why? It's very strange. the overall entropy of the system, the entire universe would have to increase while we observe the formation of ordered structures in the universe with low entropy. Again, I repeat, this is again paradox. This paradox some researchers try to explain by the formation of massive black holes having high entropy. Again, black holes, it is like areas when everything compressed and there is no particles, no light, it is just energy inside. And so existence of this of the object with the point mass, or so-called black holes, was derived from the general relativity theory. Again, it is ridiculous. It is such singularities should not exist. Absolutely impossible. But yet, speculations on these black holes, so people say that should be hundreds of millions of black holes in our galaxy alone, from small to big. And from the mid-60s, 1960s, general relativity and black holes became mainstream subject of research. And in 2023, a computer-generated picture of the black hole in the center of our galaxy was presented as evidence of their existence. This is also absolutely ridiculous. This is not a real picture. This picture was created by a computer. So, yeah, but it was presented like a real black hole, and people even got the Nobel Prize for this. Again, it's ridiculous. However, a theory of quantum gravity and string theory denies the formation of such singularities. So you can go more into the string theory, and it's again, unfortunately, it is not much supported financially, such research. Life itself does not contradict the law of increasing entropy, because living organisms are open systems that maintain their internal order by exporting entropy to the surroundings primarily through energy dissipation and release of heat. Materialists, I mean, these people who consider matter as the only existence, claim that biological evolution is driven by random mutations and gradual accumulation of the beneficial mutations that are necessary for organisms to survive and reproduce. But if you use mathematics, you will come to conclusion that it is impossible, because mutations are going at some special rate. I mean, the rate of mutation is defined, and the accumulation of these mutations will take so much longer time than calculated the time of the university existence. Just impossible. Okay, also appearance of life from dead matter, nobody demonstrated, nobody. The origin of new biological species in relatively short epochs like Cambrian explosion, and the origin of humans cannot be explained only by theory of can be explained only by the theory of intelligent design. Again, it is a lot of this theory is suppressed. It is highly criticized, but all the critics they fail to show that we have to trust this Darwin's theory of evolution, and not to say about multidimensional universe. It is ridiculous. It is more like this materialistic understanding of the universe. It is religion, and very low religion for people who cannot think, cannot comprehend mathematics, cannot comprehend real science. Okay, so also for the existence of galaxies and life, the universe constants, like gravity, electromagnetic force, nuclear forces, etc., have to be precisely tuned and balanced. Otherwise, there will be no life. Okay, in Cambrian explosion, it was a really fantastic event when suddenly new forms, new species appeared from nowhere, with no trace. So the fine-tuning of the universe constant points to intelligent design theory rather than having occurred by random chance. Again, if you calculate opportunity and probability that it is in our universe, some random chance we got this necessary combination of this constant, it is impossible. But what was the universally constant changing over time? Again, materialistic scientists claim it is constant. Constant are constant, but there are many facts that showing that some constants are not constant. They are changing. They can be measured, like gravity can be measured, and then gravity constant is changing, even changing in scale of years and days, not to mention millions years. Okay, the hypothesis of the expanding Earth claims that our planet has been expanding for the last 250 million years, and its radius used to be 55% of the modern radius, and the density of air on our planet was much higher than now. The only explanation which can be attributed to the development of life on our planet. It's again, to explain the growing sizes of planets in the solar system, which is also confirmed by measurements, and increasing distances of them from the sun. Then proponents of this expanding Earth theory hypothesis refer to the possibility that gravitational constant was slowly decreasing in time, as it was first proposed by Paul Dirac. Paul Dirac is a very famous physicist, mostly in quantum mechanics he worked, but also other areas of science. And he proposed it in 1937. So he was one of the founders of quantum mechanics. Again, our Earth, according to this expanding Earth theory, this theory explains so many facts, so many, that we cannot say that it is not working, because it is explaining. So again, there are these pterosaurs which were huge size, absolutely huge size, and they were flying. In our atmosphere, what we have now, the density of atmosphere is so low that they cannot fly, but they were flying. It is, you can, paleontology demonstrate it. They were flying. But then something happened, and the density of our atmosphere dropped, and gravitational force dropped, and size of the planet increased. And again, people don't want to talk about this, because from materialistic viewpoint of science, our planet was always the same size, and gravitational constant is a constant, it is nothing changing. What to say? What to say? It was shown that only in the material universe, if material universe has one time dimension and three dimensions of space dimensions, only in such conditions orbit of a planet around its sun and star orbit around the center of her galaxy, and electron orbitals around nucleus can be stable. This is again very interesting observation, that for material universe to exist, it can exist only in this total 4 dimensions, 3 dimensions special, one is time dimensions. The quantum universe is not like this. String theory provides a unified description of gravity and particle size physics, at least it tries to do it. And it is a candidate for a theory of everything to explain all the forces which exist in galaxy. Again, not much money, not much financial support it is getting, so not many people can work in it. So in string theory, objects, so-called particles, which we can observe in our material world, are described as oscillations of one-dimensional object called strings, or multidimensional object membranes in multidimensional space. So again, we have this material world, but outside of our material world there is multidimensional world, and in total, this multidimensional world maybe have 10 or 11 dimensions. So 7, we have 4 dimensions for our space, and 7 dimensions, 6 or 7 dimensions for external, for universe was multidimensional universe, which is completely different from what we have in material universe. So again, so we have 6 or 7 dimensional quantum world, and initial, but again, initially many people work, and there are different versions, so-called bosonic string theory. It was even people tried to use 26 dimensions for its mathematical consistency, but not all these dimensions are really infinite dimensions. This was like some so little special dimensions which are you cannot consider as dimensions for in our. We have space of dimensions which are going to infinity. And in quantum world, it should be the same, but again, not if you consider 26 dimensions, some dimensions are a little bit compromised, so they are not infinite dimensions. So, but okay. Anyway, this recently, this AM theory consider 10 or 11 dimensions, and we need more research in this area. Okay, so we have in classical physics, in our material world, we have these objects like electron and other neutrons and neurons and other bosons and fermions, etc., etc. So, but in the total, in the string theory, which explains everything, all multidimensional world, it is the objects are considered as oscillations of the field, of some field. What is the field? Nobody understands, but there is some oscillation, and oscillations have energy, and energy is distributed like evenly. So it is again quite complicated question. I hope we will see some progress in this area. But again, as science is very much limited to materialistic viewpoint, so it's again it is not supported by money, by finances. So based on discoveries in cosmology and quantum physics, the anthropic cosmological principle points that the existence of intelligent observers defines or determines the fundamental structure of the universe, appearance of life, and the emergence of intelligence. Again, this principle shows that humans have a very special place in our universe, very special. Not only in our material world, but we are some individuals with ability to also to propagate or exist as external mind in the multidimensional universe, in the quantum world. And the only reasonable argument against this principle is that humans live inside a virtual reality simulation. Again, sometimes these miracles are just impossible to explain in the material world, but again, you can say, okay, this is a computer simulation. And in the film, The Matrix world is depicted in which artificial intelligent robots have enslaved humanity within a computer simulation. It is a very popular idea. And again, sometimes I see such miracles which cannot happen in material world. And I think, wow, are we really in computer simulation? We live in a real material world? Because for real world, it is impossible. Some miracles are just impossible. And miracles at all, by definition, are something what is impossible. But they happen. So based on my observations and some experiments, I accept the ideas of Rupert Sheldrake about universal consciousness, morphic resonance, and extended mind theories. Again, I recommend people learn about this more. And again, you can make experiments. You can check it. It really works. It really works, especially this extended mind. You can check it in simple experiments. No need for big money. Just follow his recommendation, what he proposed, and you will have confirmation that this extended mind really exists. Extended mind, so our mind is extended extended to the outer space, and our brain is not the source of the mind. Our brain is more like antenna work. Okay. Then logically, it would be natural to claim that dark energy is a quantum field which supports universal mind, and the universal consciousness is a product of the mind. Again, this is quite complicated area, but again, if we have extended mind theory, that extended mind is a product of brain. I mean, by definition, brain, but somewhere there is some universal mind, and this mind has to be produced, and it is produced by universal consciousness, which is the base of all our universe. So, and again, if we are so special, we have a purpose. We were created by this universal consciousness with some purpose. And our purpose, I believe, it is to populate not only our solar system, but other stars of our galaxy, and go to beyond our galaxy to populate all the universe. I believe that it is our purpose. But if we will fail in it, because again, the left-wing activist or materialistic science will dominate, and then we will just extinct, and next version of the universe will be again with humans, and next version of humans maybe will succeed in this purpose, because again, I believe that humans are central in this universe, absolutely central. Max Planck, the father of quantum physics, stated that I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness. Yeah, it is, again, you can trust it. So he is implying that consciousness is primary reality, and the all matter in our small world arises from consciousness. Consciousness, again, it may be 68% of the all energy in the multidimensional universe, or maybe even 95% of the energy. But we have, our matter is tiny portion of this energy, of this field. A field is consciousness. So he also believed that the conscious and intelligent mind is behind the force that holds the atom together, making this mind the matrix of all matter. So he was not just a physicist, he was a philosopher, and Planck's insight challenged the very fabric of materialistic science and pointed toward a universal field of consciousness that may be the matrix behind all the reality. And that is, mind is primary and matter is secondary. Yeah, again, our material world only 5%, and 95% it is something which is probably related to this universal consciousness, then it is logically, yes, it is so. We are, all this material world is secondary and created with special purpose. So certain spiritual interpretations define human consciousness as also immortal spirit, immortal soul that inhabits the physical body of humans. Again, this quite common idea about, so people were not stupid centuries or thousands of years ago, millennia ago. They understand maybe nature of the universe better, based on their observations, I would say. So this material science is a religion, and all very stupid one. So it cannot explain so many things, but people yet use it, and especially all this left-wing activists, communists, they are stuck in this material vision of the universe, but it is only a small fraction of the multidimensional universe. Okay, so this Max Planck was a fantastic genius, a real genius, in difference from Albert Einstein. And he said, I regard consciousness as fundamental in our universe. From this view, the observer is not just a passive spectator of the cosmos, but an active participant in the unfolding reality. Planck wasn't alone in this belief. Another founder of quantum physics, Erich Schrödinger, Erwin Schrödinger explored the unity of universal, or so-called unified consciousness in the material world. He believes that consciousness is fundamental and cannot be explained by physical terms alone, suggesting a single universal mind forms the existence of reality. It is so close to religion that people mostly try to not to talk about this. So it means the universe is more like an intelligent mind than a machine. So it's again 95% of energy of some field, quantum fields, is somehow created our small 5% energy material world, and this is again the creation. We were created for with special purpose. So Planck and Schrödinger saw it is not as mysticism, but as scientific fact. Erwin Schrödinger also suggested that consciousness is somehow produced by, not somehow something produced by neurons in the brain of individuals, but again, it is a part of the universal consciousness. This is again our soul. Soul is it is far beyond our bodies. And there are many, again, observations in favor of this vision. So again, Erwin Schrödinger was explaining that consciousness is not defined by brain, it is universal. And it is also, he said, singular entity. It is, he said, this universal consciousness is not just many different objects, many different fields. He said it is singular, and it has some personality. So it can be, we can talk about personality of this consciousness, universal consciousness. In 1963, Paul Dirac wrote that God is a mathematician of the very high order, and he used very advanced mathematics in construction of the universe. And our feeble attempts at mathematics enable us to understand little bit of the universe. And as we proceed to develop higher and higher mathematics, we can hope to understand the universe better. Yeah, good idea, but again, it is not much supported financially because all money go somewhere else. Another founder of quantum physics, Werner Heisenberg, was a devout Christian. He once said, the first gulp from the glass of natural sciences will turn you into an atheist, but at the bottom of the glass, God is waiting for you. And he was Lutheran and devout Christian. So Heisenberg's understanding of science and religion was intertwined, and so combined. It is again believing that physics and science at all could be a form of service to God. So again, if I am scientist, I can consider that what I am doing is some kind of service. It is a kind of duty to God, to this universal consciousness, that it is my task on this planet to do. Oh, other scientists also should do it. So Arthur Compton, also very famous scientist, was a deeply religious person and Presbyterian. Okay, so this Heisenberg, he said this connection between God and science. The Compton was also a very devout Christian. And I didn't mention, but again, this Nikola Tesla was also talking about this our mental power. It comes from God. And so we can develop it, we can accept it, and again, work in this direction, and to become in tune, to become in harmony with this great power of the universal consciousness. So mainstream materialistic science is built on the assumption that reality is objective and external, that the universe exists independently of us, and that consciousness somehow emerges from our brains as biological fluke. In the materialistic version of cosmology, gravity pulls dust and gases together, creating a dense core that eventually ignites nuclear fusion, forming a newborn star, etc., etc., this Big Bang theory. And materialists claim that the theory of intelligent design is pseudoscience based on groundless faith and beliefs. In reality, the situation is quite opposite. It is materialism, a theory that is based on groundless opinion and not supported by facts and observations in paleontology, cosmology, and quantum physics. It is absolute, again, materialism is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But in particular, quantum physics is proving that subject, which is the human or observer, and object, it is the material world, particles in the material world, then cannot be separated, since object, this particle, material world, cannot exist without the subject, without these humans and or some observer. There should be behind this our universe, material universe, there is always observer, and we were created in part like observers. So we also participate in it. So our purpose is to do this job, to stabilize galaxies, to bring harmony and order and life, spread life through the galaxies and through the universe. Okay, so, but again, problem with materialism, that life is explained in pure mechanical terms, and again, that's humans considered as biological robots, also animals, all animals, and then atrocities, huge atrocities are coming from, possibility of atrocities coming from this understanding. It is again, yeah, so big problem. So scientists of the past assumed that the universe was created by rational intelligence, or so-called intelligent mind, and therefore is intelligible. So we can learn about the universe because it was created by some intelligent mind, and if we are intelligent enough, we can go and we can learn about the universe. A famous astronomer of the past, Johannes Kepler, proclaimed in his Harmony of the World that the work of God is evident in the mathematical nature of the universe and all the harmony of the physical laws. Robert Boyle saw evidence of intelligent design in chemistry and physics, and Isaac Newton saw evidence of intelligent design in the natural world, particularly in the complexity of the universe, the human body, and the structure of the eye. William Paley, he was not a scientist, but he made a lot to contribute to this universal mind. So, and he used a watchmaker analogy as evidence in complexity and adaptation seen in the nature must have been designed. So he said the nature is so well balanced, so much in harmony and with some purpose, that the only way we can explain it, the facts, the observations, that it is some intelligent mind is behind all this design. So among modern proposals of intelligent design theory, there are some quite number of brilliant scientists, so you can learn. So again, Kepler and Robert Boyle, and Isaac Newton, and this guy William Paley. He was actually a priest, but contributed a lot to this intelligent design theory. So a reliable theory has to explain existing data and provide a basis for anticipating what will happen under different experimental conditions. Theories of materialism, general relativity, and evolutionary biology fail to explain existing data and observation. In particular, we observe degradation and devolution of biological species in ecosystem instead of evolution. This is what we see. we are supposed to bring harmony and beauty to our world. Instead, we destroy the ecological system and biological species. So, but again, left-wing activists believe that they are virtuous people. This perception is often linked to the left focus on concepts like equality, atheism, and social justice, which they see as inherently virtuous. In particular, they want to provide free money and benefits to illegal migrants and representatives of sexual, racial, and religious minorities. Implementation, but again, if they are so virtuous, implementation of the left-wing ideology based on materialism resulted in suffering and real death of hundreds of millions of innocent people. Among these people who perished because of implementation of communism and this materialism was my family of my great-parents. And in China also it was people, so many people were killed just because they worked better than others. So because they accumulated some wealth, because they were smarter and hardworking people in contrast to some alcoholics and lazy people or stupid people. But again, as leftists claim that all people are equal, and if they are not equal, then the benefits should go to these compromised individuals to bring them to equality, so to make it so that they will be equal. Or other ideas that to eliminate all people who are hardworking, smart, and intelligent. Okay, this was it. In Soviet Union and China, they were also mostly eliminating smart people, but in now left-wing ideology say, no, we just make distribute wealth, so we will take money and make high taxation to intelligent and hardworking people and distribute this money to people who are lazy, criminals, and illegal migrants, etc. So what will be the result? Of course, destruction of the civilization. This is what is happening. Migrants welcome here. I mean, illegal migrants. I got in my time proposal to move to America legally. Unfortunately, I didn't use this possibility because of my family situation. So I didn't go, and instead I went to Germany, and much later, and Germany, I love Germany, I love the German people, but unfortunately Germany is not the best place for migrants, not the best, unfortunately. Again, I love Germany, it's a beautiful country, beautiful people. I learned a lot from Germans, but yet again, from viewpoint of migration, immigration, they invite these illegal migrants from Muslim countries, and they give so much money to them, free food, free money, free accommodation, free health care. I was working like hell, 6 days a week and 10 hours a day, hard, and also nobody was able to do the job I did because it was related to science and top education. And I was getting even less money than these illegal migrants from Afghanistan. That time it was Afghanistan, but eventually millions came from other countries. So again, best luck to destroy your own nation. So I had the privilege to be in friendly relations and work personally with some of the most brilliant minds among theoreticians in physics, and there were no atheists among them. No, nothing, nobody. In general, they were deists. So sometimes they shared experiences to observe the impact of their consciousness on events in their life. So like they shared some miracles they observed, and it is, okay, they just was wondering, you see that miracles can happen, so, but you can explain it with virtual reality or with existence of this extended mind and universal consciousness. So motivated by these stories, observations on physics of elementary particles, cosmology and biology, and some events in my life, it is also was important. At the end of 1994, I accepted Christianity and was baptized by a South Korean Protestant pastor. And as a scientist specialized in experimental physics, I would never trust any theory unless the theory is confirmed by observation, my observation and my experiments, and has a predictive power. Later on, I got solid evidence that Christianity can be trusted. This is a theory, but again, it is actually truth. Christianity is based on truth.